The U.S. government is shut down and the panic is palpable. Mothers terrified about how they'll get baby formula or feed their children because programs like WIC and SNAP are on the brink of collapse. You even got men, able-bodied men, crying on social media about losing their food stamps. It's the sound of a society realizing its very foundation is broken. And in this chaos, you have to ask the hard question, the one that makes everyone uncomfortable. Where are the men in these women's lives? Where are the fathers, the husbands, the providers who should be first in line of defense for their families? But before you blame the men standing in those lines, you need to know the real history. This didn't start with men walking away. This started with the 60-year coordinated attack on the family that men failed to defend against, and nobody wants to talk about it. Let's go back to 1960. Black families are more intact than they are today. Let me say that again. This is documented in census data. In 1960, 61% of black adults were married. By 1970, black women were more likely to have been married than their white counterparts. The strong black family wasn't a myth, it was a reality. Then came the 1960s, the sexual revolution, second wave feminism. Betty Friedan's book, The Feminine Mystique, was published in 1963 and declared that the traditional family was a comfortable concentration camp for women. The birth control pill became widely available for contraception in 1960. The message became patriarchy is oppression. Marriage is slavery. Traditional masculinity is toxic. This was a direct, coordinated cultural attack on a family structure that had held communities together. But the cultural attack wasn't enough. The government weaponized policy. The AFDC program, Aid to Families with Dependent Children, had a man in the house rule. If a working man was living in the home, the family could lose their benefits. On top of that, marriage penalties meant that a couple could lose thousands of dollars in benefits if they decided to get married. The government literally paid women to stay single and punished them for having a man in the house. Think about that. A man comes home from work, wants to provide for his family, and the government says, if you stay, she'll lose her benefits. If you marry her, she'll lose even more. The system didn't fill a void men created. The system created the void by making it financially impossible for men to stay. The results were catastrophic. Black marriage rates collapsed from 61% in 1960 to just 32% by 2008. The number of female-headed black households more than doubled, shooting up from 20.6% in 1990 to 43.7% by 1985. This wasn't men abandoning their posts. This was a system that pushed men out, then expanded government programs to replace them, and then blamed men for the destruction they caused. Now here's where men are accountable. We should have fought back. Men came home from World War II, rebuilt society, and then got blindsided by the feminist attack on masculinity in the 1960s. Instead of standing up and saying, no, you will not destroy our families, too many men retreated. Some men facing impossible financial pressure from welfare policy did leave. Others saw the trap and never built families at all. And yes, some men just quit. They used the rigged system as an excuse to abandon responsibility. That's on us. We should have fought harder. We should have organized. We should have resisted the policies that were engineered to destroy families. But guess what? We didn't. Right here in Kansas City, I see billboards celebrating single mothers. And they are strong. They are resilient. But that billboard exists because the system spent 60 years making two-parent households financially impossible. Then celebrated the wreckage as empowerment. Where's the billboards for men who stayed despite the system trying to push them out? Where's the celebration for the families that survived the attack? Don't let anyone tell you men walked away first. The system pushed men out with policy and culture, then blame the men for leaving. But that doesn't mean men are blameless. We failed to fight back. We failed to resist. We let them destroy the family without a real fight. That failure is generational, and we're living in the aftermath of it right now. So now you understand the trap. First, they pushed men out in the 1960s with welfare policy and feminist messaging. Men failed to fight back. Families collapsed. Government expanded to fill the void they created. Now they attack any man trying to reclaim his leadership position. It's a 60-year war, and most men don't even know they're fighting it. This is the second hidden front of the war. The legal, financial, and now the cultural warfare waged against any man who even tries to be a husband and a father. First, you have the establishment of no-fault divorce. In every single state, a woman can leave a marriage for any reason or no reason at all. Studies have consistently shown that women initiate nearly 70% of all divorces. No fault means no accountability for her decision to leave, but it means full life-altering consequences for your ass, for you. Next, after she leaves, the family court steps in. And make no mistake, the court does not see you as an equal parent. Despite all the talk about the best interest of the child, mothers are awarded primary custody in the overwhelming majority of cases. National averages show that fathers receive only about 35% of custody time, effectively sidelining them and reducing their role to that of a weekend visitor and a check in the mail. That leads directly to the third weapon, financial warfare. You are now legally bound to pay child support. But the system is not just about supporting your kids. It's weaponized to finance two households on one man's income. You're covering your own rent, your own bills, and you're sending a significant portion of your income to cover her household expenses. You become broke. She becomes comfortable, and the government supplements whatever is left. You are transformed into a financial slave to the very system that took your family from you. But it's not just the legal system attacking masculine leadership. Society itself attacks it. Right here in my city, the Kansas City Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker gave a speech at a Catholic college. He told female graduates that one of their most important vocations could be that of a wife and mother. For this, the media, activists, even the NFL itself tried to cancel him. The NFL issued a statement distancing themselves from his views, all because he dared to encourage women to be mothers. The hostility isn't limited to one group. In the Black community, a woman who advocates for healthy marriages and supports traditional family structures is often attacked and labeled a pick-me or a male-centered woman, whatever that shit is. Society actively shames women for standing with and supporting good men. Then it turns around and wonders why those same women run to the government for security instead. The system doesn't just attack men who try to lead. It viciously attacks women who support those men. The system punishes men who try to lead and then blames them when they stop trying. This isn't an excuse for failure. This is the battlefield. You can't change the 1960s. You can't undo welfare policy that destroyed families. You can't rewind the sexual revolution. But you can refuse to surrender now. Yes, the system attacked first. Yes, men should have fought back harder. Both are true. The critical question is, what are you going to do about it today? You don't get to use the rigged system as an excuse to quit. But you also can't pretend that the system isn't designed to destroy you if you walk into it blind. A real man doesn't panic when a government check is late because his family's survival has never and will never depend on it. My family eats because I work. not because some bureaucrat in Washington sends a check. A man who builds his life on the bedrock of hard work, discipline, and relentless self-reliance is his family's safety net. He is the stimulus package. He is the social security. I built my life knowing the system is hostile to me. The solution is a provider mentality that exists despite the odds, not because of them. Here's what nobody in politics wants to admit. The government was never designed to replace fathers. It's economically illiterate to think it could. Welfare states inevitably collapse under the weight of mass dependency. The math simply doesn't work. Two-parent households are vastly more economically stable and productive than government programs. This isn't ideology. It's basic economics. Men leading families is a more sustainable model than government checks trying and failing to do the same job. The government is using a Chevy Cruze to run a Formula One race. It wasn't built for this. Men were. Politicians know this, but dependency creates voters. So they will never say it out loud, but I will. Men are needed back at their posts, not just for moral reasons, but for the economic survival of our communities. This reality demands strategic masculine leadership. First, you must choose your battles. And the most important battle is choosing your partner. You must vet your partner with ruthless intensity. No-fault divorce means you must make a fault-proof choice. The stakes are your children, your home, and your entire income for the next 18 years. You must build your life with a woman who values masculine leadership and family, not government dependency. Second, you build your fortress despite the system. Here in Kansas City, in every city across the nation, men need to step up and rebuild what our own failures and hostile system have destroyed. Be the safety net for your own family. Lead in your community where the system can't touch you. Mentor young men who have no fathers. Build businesses that create jobs and create networks of support that make government programs irrelevant. They rigged the game 60 years ago. Men should have fought back then. We didn't. But that doesn't mean we surrender now. Be the man who leads even when the system spent 6 decades trying to make it impossible. Build your family knowing the system wants you to fail. That's not an excuse to quit. That's a battlefield you're on. The shutdown exposed a two-front war. But the real history is this. The system attacked masculine leadership first in the 1960s with feminism and welfare policy designed to push men out. Men failed to fight back hard enough. Family structure collapsed. Now the system punishes any man trying to reclaim his post. Conservatives won't tell you the system attacked first. They just blame men. Liberals won't admit men should fight back. They just blame patriarchy. I'm telling you it's both. The system attack. Men failed to defend. Both are true. Now we rebuild anyway. This is locker room therapy, straight out of KC, where we tell the whole truth, even when it makes everyone uncomfortable. What is the true role of men? And how do we fight a war on two fronts? Discuss it in the comments below. And if you want raw truth with no filters, subscribe.